Take a deep breath, Warriors fan, because what happened to Jonathan Kuminga could change everything about the future of the franchise. Today I'm going to show you why the Warriors shock fans with Kuminga decision as trade rumors explode, and how this could be the first step towards the end of an era, or the beginning of another. Before you think it's just more exaggerated news, stay with me until the end, because there's a heavy background, an unexpected decision, and a detail that almost no one noticed, but which completely changes this story. Before continuing, here's what you need to do. If you are truly a Warriors at heart and don't want to get lost in the backstage, subscribe to the channel now, leave a like, and activate the bell. Here you will always receive the bombshells, controversial decisions, and everything that is hidden behind the cameras first. Click like because this shows YouTube that you want to know the truth about the future of the franchise and not just that official press conference talk. And comment below what you think of this decision about Kuminga because I will read everything and use your opinion in the next videos. Now hold on tight and don't leave here, because what I'm going to tell you from now on could completely change the way you see the Golden State project and Kuminga's place in this story. Let's go behind the scenes, once and for all. Golden State fans, let's talk calmly about what's really going on with Jonathan Kuminga, because this move by the Warriors wasn't just a footnote. When the franchise announces early on that it has sent Kuminga to G League affiliate the Santa Cruz Warriors, along with DeAnthony Melton and Gui Santos, this is not simply a schedule adjustment. It's a sign, it's a message, and it's natural for you to feel like there's something bigger behind it all. The crowd's first reaction was astonishment. On social media, the atmosphere was one of shock. Many understood the move as a kind of demotion, almost a punishment, especially amid so many trade rumors, debates about Kuminga's role in the team, and mainly doubts about his relationship with Steve Kerr. But when we start to look more closely, we realize that the story is more complex than the quick narrative that appears in the headlines. According to behind-the-scenes information, this move to the G League has a very specific objective: rhythm, conditioning, contact with the game. No punishment, no official change in the caste hierarchy. A more intense training session was organized with a scrimmage atmosphere so that Kuminga, Melton, and Gui Santos could feel the dynamics of the real game again. It's that type of session in which the player returns to bumping, running, jumping, making mistakes, hitting, without the pressure of an NBA match, but with the seriousness of someone in the final stages of recovery. In the case of Kuminga, this is even more delicate. He has been dealing with bilateral patellar tendonitis, an inflammation of the tendons below each knee. It's not a simple injury. It's not something that can be resolved with just willpower. It affects jump, explosion, change of direction, everything that is part of the essence of his game. There were 6 away matches, almost 2 weeks away, exactly at a time when the atmosphere around the Warriors was no longer the most peaceful. While he was away, conversations about court time, confidence, and his role within the system grew. Information emerged that Kuminga felt once again like a scapegoat, that in moments of turbulence, the finger was quick to point at him, and that weighs. For a young, developing player with obvious talent, but still trying to consolidate space in a squad with champion veterans, this perception that he takes the blame is emotionally strong. The way he handled the press in recent days also fueled this narrative. When reporters approached to find out how his recovery was going and, most importantly, when he could return, the answer was short. Soon. No compliment. No longer explanation. No opening for dialogue. And when he refuses to answer further questions, even after learning that Steve Kerr himself suggested that journalists speak to him directly, it creates a void. And, in an NBA environment, emptiness turns into speculation in seconds. This silence does not necessarily mean a breakup, but it reveals a certain weariness. A player in the midst of his affirmation phase, dealing with an injury that hinders his main physical resource, hearing trade rumors, seeing his name mentioned as currency in possible negotiations, and still feeling that his draft is always the first to be cut when something gets out of control. Put all of this on the same scale, and you understand why any gesture, any phrase, any absence starts to be interpreted as a sign of crisis. On the other side is Steve Kerr, also under pressure. In a recent interview, he admitted that I didn't know exactly where Kuminga was physically. He said they did contact training, live plays, and that the winger participated very little. The phrase isolated sounded like a public message, almost as if the coach had pushed the responsibility of positioning himself onto the player. The internet did what it always does, took this excerpt, cut it, went viral, turned it into proof of bad weather. After that came the predictable but necessary move. Kerr spoke again and tried to calm the situation. He said he spoke with Kuminga, that the two are on the same page, that frustration is part of the life of any high-level player, especially on a team in constant rotation adjustment. He reinforced that nothing is definitive, that the starting 5 and minutes can change at any time. It's the words of a coach who knows he needs to demand and protect at the same time, especially when it comes to a young player with so much potential. Kuminga's pre-injury numbers show why he is so central to this discussion. More than 13 points per game, almost 7 rebounds, contributions in assists, consistent minutes and presence as a starter in the vast majority of matches. This is not about someone fighting for spare time on the court. It is a piece that was already being treated as an important part of the team's structure. At the same time, the recent contract he signed and the timing of the league calendar, with the release date of his trade restriction approaching, put him in the showcase as one of the franchise's main negotiating chips. This is exactly where the decision to send Kuminga to the G League takes on another layer. When you just look at the headline, it looks like a demotion. When you look at the context, you realize that it can also be a way to protect you, reset the pace, test the body, take the weight of a lap directly in a big game, and at the same time, show the market that the player is healthy, active, ready. In a league where everything is calculated, each step has multiple readings. In this scenario, DeAnthony Melton comes in as another important point. He has yet to debut for the Warriors this season due to anterior cruciate ligament surgery. He is already an established player in the league, with solid averages of points, rebounds, assists, and steals. It's not a promise. It's a professional who knows how to compete at a high level. The fact that he was also sent to Santa Cruz reinforces the version that the main objective is physical, not disciplinary. The idea is to put him in a real game situation so that when he is available, he can immediately fight for space alongside Stephen Curry. Having Melton physically fit could change the dynamics of the Warriors' perimeter. He offers defense at the point of attack, game reading, good outside shooting, and versatility to adapt to different quintets. At a time when the team is looking to rebalance attack and defense, having a player of this profile fully available is almost as important as any tactical adjustment. Gui Santos completes this trio sent to the G League. The winger has already had minutes on the court this season, always entering with energy, willingness, and desire to show service. His statistics are discreet, but consistent with his reduced playing time. For him, this period in Santa Cruz is an opportunity to stay in shape, gain more consecutive minutes, take on greater responsibilities on the court, and show that he can be useful not only in garbage time, but also in real situations when the game is open. When we put all of this together, it becomes clear that the Warriors' decision cannot be read solely through the lens of controversy. Yes, there is a tense background. Trade rumors, questions about the project, doubts about the direction the franchise wants to take in the short and medium term. Kuminga is at the center of all this because it represents, at the same time, the present and a possible currency for the future. He is a talent in the making, but he is also an asset on the market in a team that is still trying to reconcile the final stretch of a winning era with the need to prepare for what comes next. From a human point of view, it is a delicate moment for him. Coming back from injury is a challenge in itself. Coming back from injury amid rumors, criticism, and perceptions of scapegoating is even more intense. Every gesture, every interview, every training session starts to be used as an argument for a thesis. He is dissatisfied. He doesn't trust the coach. The coach doesn't trust him. The board has already decided to change. Sometimes the reality is less dramatic than that, but the pressure is real. On the side of Kerr and the coaching staff, there is also a fine line to walk. It is necessary to take care of the athlete's health, respect physical limits, manage the locker room, deal with the board, respond publicly, and above all, win games. In an organization accustomed to competing for titles, any negative sequence becomes a crisis, and any adjustment, it seems like a desperate act. In this atmosphere, managing a young talent becomes almost an exercise in emotional balance. What this decision by the Warriors shows us, in the end, is that Kuminga's history with the franchise is at a turning point. It does not necessarily mean that it will be the beginning of a separation. It could be the opposite. It could be the preparation stage for a stronger, more mature return, with an even clearer role. But it is also true that if the board opts for a bolder move in the market, his name will be at the center of any serious conversation. So when you hear that Kuminga has been sent to the G League, it's not just a roster issue. It is a chapter of a larger plot, which involves health, trust, hierarchy, sports project, and of course all the behind the scenes that never appear officially, but that always influence the direction of a franchise. If you follow the Warriors closely, you know that these types of decisions are never just technical. There is always a reading of the moment, of the dressing room, of external and internal pressure. The way Kuminga will react, how he will return, how he will be used in the next games, and how the franchise will position itself in relation to trade speculation will say a lot about which path Golden State is willing to follow. And that is exactly what we will continue to observe, not just what is said in interviews, but what is done on the court, in rotations, in the final minutes of tight games, and in market decisions. Because behind this trip to Santa Cruz is the question that really matters. What, in fact, is Jonathan Kuminga's place in the Warriors' future? So now the question remains, is this all just a behind-the-scenes adjustment, or is it the first sign of a radical turnaround in the future of the Golden State Warriors? Because if you stop to think about it, we have a young man at boiling point, a cast under pressure, a coach in the eye of the storm, and a board with very big decisions ahead. Either Kuminga returns from this sequence stronger, more protagonist, and more respected within the project, or this could be the beginning of the end of his journey with the Warriors' shirt. There is no longer a neutral zone. Every minute on the court, every statement, every behind-the-scenes movement from now on will push this story one way or the other. And that's exactly why, if you really want to understand what's at stake, not just today, but in the next trade window, the next off-season, and the next chapter of this franchise, you can't follow it all halfway. So do the following. As soon as you finish this video, go straight to the Golden State Warriors News Today playlist, which is in the comment pinned here below. There I gathered, in sequence, all the episodes, analyses, behind the scenes, and updates about the team's current situation, the board's decisions, Kuminga's situation, the future of the rotation, and all the possible exchanges that could explode at any moment. Click on the playlist, marathon the videos, and stay up to date with everything that doesn't appear in the press conference or in the official summary. If you are a real Warriors fan, you can no longer watch this soap opera halfway. Access the Golden State Warriors News Today playlist now in the pinned comment and come with me to follow step by step each chapter of this possible turnaround in Golden State.